Gotta Catch 'em All has been a staple of the franchise since the very beginning. Even if it wasn't a slogan in your country, filling the Pokédex was still a goal. And with the amazing popularity of Pokemon Go, it was only inevitable we would get a character dedicated to catching Pokemon. No, not that one. Yes, that one. And he got us rather mixed results, as is most things in Journeys. Either you love it or you hate it. And the common complaints are that his goal lacks a sense of progression, the goal is very repetitive, and it feels very easy when it really should not be. And I'm going to try to iron out some of these complaints. So let's begin. One of the many complaints lodged is that the catching sprees are very repetitive and boring, and in general I hold very little ill will towards the concept, but I do see how this can be very repetitive and boring. So let's instead try something else. During the raid battle with the Golurk, let's have it where Go tries to become more of a battler. After all, his soon-to-be Golurk did wipe the floor with just about everyone not named Ash at the time. Go was pretty ineffective overall. Sure, he got the Golurk eventually, but he should realize he needs to be more of a battler in order to focus on getting more and more powerful Pokemon, since if you're going to catch them all, that implies that you're going to have to catch a lot of powerful Pokemon. Not to mention, there's a matter of our two lovely fools getting into comedic traps. This doesn't have to be a one-off thing. Making these types of dungeons would be a wonderful addition to the series. We have the gym puzzles in the games, but they're non-existent in the anime. It would be interesting to see what exactly we can do with Go's goal of catching them, with the gym puzzles being repurposed into dungeon crawling. The theme of Act 1 is rather straightforward. Both Go and his Pokemon need to train. So, American Ninja Warrior style of stuff, it's going to be mostly obstacle courses, some catching sprees, some just easy catches, but nothing too major. It's not like Daiki Yamashita has no idea how to make grunting noises for training. Need I remind everyone that these dungeons are not only tests of intellect but of physicality, and well, Go's showing in the Bulbasaur episode early on leaves very much to be desired in the physicality section. He's a nerd, not Ash. Then we get into Act 2. This is where we get into the major dungeon crawling part of this. We have tons of assets from the games we never use, mostly the gym puzzles like I mentioned before, but you could also try puzzles like Abyssal Ruins, and throw in some Iceris City gyms for some ice representation. For the grass and bug representation, we can recycle parts of Pinwheel Forest mixed with Black and White 2's Berg's gym in order to get that nice mix of representation. And for our fire ground representation, we could use Mount Chimney from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It does prepare Go for Project Mew. Mew likes to hang out in hazardous places, that's probably why Mew is so elusive. And having a dungeon-crawling puzzle-solving adventure gives us a nice contrast to Ash, whose journey is mostly a straightforward trainer versus trainer rather than trainer versus environment. So, let's get some rivals up and running. This is where we try to build up Gary and Horace as viable threats or viable rivals. Gary, sure, we know who he is. We've been with him since the beginning, but I don't recall any instances where he is shown to be an excellent researcher and catcher. Sure, he did catch a lot, but we were mostly told that in the original series. The easiest way to just build him up as a threat level and a rival to Go is to simply have him go dungeon crawling and just beat the dungeon in record time. Show that he has been at this for quite some time. As for Horace, I'd say we have him go dungeon crawling with Go, and instead of being a rival to the MacGuffin Pokemon, I say build him up as a very useful ally, as a support role. And of course we can add one more rival, Blue-Green. Blue-Green is what I'm going to call her, because translation convention. She did hunt for Mewtwo in the games, so having her hunt for Mew makes a lot of sense. And of course, Evolutions did a great job of portraying what type of person and what type of goal I would like this to be, and I don't think that would be hard to translate into this anime. So Act 3 is mostly just Project Mew stuff. I'm not sure the direction of Project Mew 100%. I know they're after Mew and this is just the trial run, but still. First off, I like the concept to be primarily of artifact hunting, not Pokemon catching. After all, It's one thing to catch Moltres, it's another thing to just take a simple feather, or get some embers from Volcarona. But throwing a Pokeball is easy, but it's a bit harder to just try to snag specific objects like embers or feathers. We can actually get really creative with how we can play these cards, like maybe silk from a Volcarona, or crystals from a shiny Gigalith to examine its properties. There's a lot you can do with this concept. And I'm probably just going to stop right here since the totality of Project Mew hasn't aired, and we don't exactly have the end sight. Will he catch the floating space cat, or will he just not? I'm not going to go any further. I'm hoping this does add some support to the overall foundation of Go's goal, since it's rather iffy, and I think changing the foundation allows for better storytelling. Like with the World Coordination series, Go's goal has foundational issues, but I think I ironed those out. And when Project Mew eventually clears up, I'm probably going to make a follow-up to this video, but I'm just going to leave it right here.